Merry Christmas to everybody, and I hope everybody in my community is having a great Christmas Eve. If you celebrate early on Christmas Eve or you celebrate on Christmas Day, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you guys are taking in all the wonderful sports today and tomorrow and all the wonderful festivities of wrestling and all the festivities of what New Year's has to offer. Merry Christmas from my family to yours. Make sure, guys, to rate, like, and subscribe. Also, guys, make sure to check out everything to do with me down below. All my affiliates, all my sponsors, everything down below in the description, and all my streaming places. So today, guys, we're going to be streaming everywhere today. So we'll be streaming here and there on YouTube, here and there on Twitch, Kick. We'll be streaming here and there as I see fit. Also, guys, make sure to just check out everything. Got a lot of videos today. I got nothing really to do on my Christmas Eve because I don't really have much family. So we're going to be doing lots of content. Today's a content day for me. But some of you that are enjoying your Christmas, have a blessed Merry Christmas from my family to yours and all that. From my dogs and my mom and everybody to you guys. So yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. Okay. Anyway, let's get into talking about Monday Night Raw last night for December 23rd, 2024. It was a live show. It was taped. It was taped. I thought it was live, so it was taped. Okay, so Monday Night Raw was taped. I believe Dynamite's going to be taped. The last Rampage is going to be taped. So the next week is all going to be taped episodes of wrestling. I believe TNA's taped too. So anyway, let's get into this. Drew McIntyre coming out, basically having a chat, basically saying he's basically regurgitating what he's been saying on podcasts, basically that he doesn't get to see his family all the time and how he was screwed over and how the crowd turned on him, kind of like what Cody Rhodes did in AEW when he was getting booed. Said, I gave everything to you folks and you turned your backs on me. So basically the same Drew McIntyre heel, the same kind of promo that he was doing against CM Punk, he's doing now here, basically blaming the bloodline, blaming Sammy, blaming Jimmy, blaming Jay, blaming Roman, which I think this is the deviation they're going to do because of what's going on with the bloodline. I could see Drew McIntyre coming in and screwing over Roman Reigns in the match. I could see that and being some type of a force. But then I can also see it backfire in in Drew McIntyre's favor on the January 6th episode, and Solo Sikoa and Drew McIntyre could be feuding. You know, who knows? You know what I mean? So Drew McIntyre kicks off the show. Like I said, it's always a good time with Drew, but it's the same kind of promo, to be honest with you guys. Same kind of promo. Again, I love Sami Zayn. Look, Sami Zayn has grown on me. I feel Sami Zayn's an amazing character, but I just feel, and this is my opinion, maybe you guys feel different than me. I feel Sami Zayn is kind of becoming one-dimensional, where I feel Sami, everything he does is the same, as much as I feel sometimes with Drew McIntyre. So when Sami came out, he cut the same rah, hero. I'm going to, I've been through the same roads, the same things as you. I don't understand why you're out here bitching, moaning, and groaning. And then it turned into them going at each other later in the night. Now, Sami Zayn did lose that match. I expected him to lose. I expect Drew to go through the bloodline to lead up to Roman Reigns. And I think that will be your top three that will lead into the undisputed title with Cody Rhodes. I really hope that's not the case. I hope it's Roman and CM Punk, and then CM Punk going over Roman. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to have CM Punk go over Roman to lead into what we are going to know pretty much about WrestleMania. I think it's going to be Cody, and I honestly think it's going to be Punk. I think it's going to be Punk going over. I think on the other side, I still stand by what I said. I still think it's going to be either Gunther and Randy Orton, or it'll be, I'm throwing this in here, Penta and Gunther. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I do hope it. I hope it's that, but I don't think they're going to sign Penta before the end of the year because of all the shit his brother's been spewing. And it kind of sucks because Penta would be a really good world heavyweight champion on Raw, to be honest with you. I feel he would. Cero Romero, I feel like it would be. That's tough because you got John Cena coming back. You could have Cena. You can actually, to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind seeing Priest again. I wouldn't mind seeing Finn Balor if they want to go and make Gunther a face either. But I really see Randy Orton there. I do. I think Randy Orton is the chosen one. I think he has more accolades. And I don't think Randy Orton's retiring anytime soon. And I think he'd be the one to break Ric Flair's record, which is an asterisk because Ric Flair won all those championships in different organizations. So keep that in mind. So, and also McIntyre talked about CM Punk again. So, we may have another rivalry between the two. I don't know. The women's IC tournament first round, they took out Kairi Sane. So Kairi Sane, to everybody in my community, I told you guys, Kairi Sane wasn't going to be the chosen one. I told you this. They don't have stock value in Kairi Sane. To all my Kairi Sane fans out there and in the community, she wasn't going to be anything. So they wrote her off. And I really think it's going to be Io Sky. Raw is depleted for that Intercontinental Championship. I really think it will be Io Sky. I could see it honestly being, it could be a toss-up for me on the Raw side. On the US side, it was kind of a given. It was either going to be Chelsea Green or it was going to be Michin. They could bring Charlotte Flair back. Charlotte Flair could come back and challenge and win the belt. You know what I mean? There was a scene with the Judgment Day where Finn Balor and Liv Morgan argued like kids. Balor was on one side with JD and Carlito as while Morgan was with Raquel Rodriguez and Dominic Mysterio. So it looks like they're giving tensions on what's going on with the Judgment Day. But the Judgment Day, I don't know what they're doing with the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day, 1 minute they look strong, and the next minute they look fucking like a circus act. I personally think, and this is me, I think Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan and Dominic can go out on their own. I think, honestly, if you want to go that way, you can have them go out on their own and do their own thing. And then you can have JD Madonna and you can still keep the Judgment Day, but then you can have Liv Morgan go out and do her own thing. I think if you have Rhea Ripley doing her own thing, you can have Liv Morgan have her own little group. Now, that also brings up the question, is too many groups in WWE? Who knows? Chad Gable defeating Zazawa. This was a throwaway match, to be honest with you guys. I'm going to be real with you. A little bit of a throwaway match. I could care less here. Alpha Academy versus American Made. I could care less. The Chad Gable is a jobber now at this point. He resigned to be a glorified jobber. And I just, at this point, I just don't have any faith in Chad Gable. They're trying to build Chad Gable as the next coming of Kurt Angle, and it's just not working for me. And Chad Gable looks like Shorty G all of a sudden out of nowhere, and I'm just not caring for it. Plain simple, not caring for it. I don't care for Chad Gable. I think he re-signing, that was a play move by WWE because clearly AEW wanted him, and clearly WWE offered him more money to glorified to be a jobber. Let's keep it that way. Dom bumped in the New Day backstage. Kofi Kingston was happy to see him. Figured he would know that through Dom said he didn't like Big E, but what they did to him was crazy. Xavier Woods called him broke-ass Tom Selleck. Dom responded to the Tom Selleck wishes. Dom chucked and left. And again, they had a New Day segment with Kofi Kingston's mother, which was so stupid. Guys, I get their heels. I get it, WWE. They're heels. I get it. Do better. Do better. Xavier Woods should be going after that Intercontinental belt, to be honest, against Braun. I think that's where they need to be with that. Again, Damian Priest defeats Dominic Mysterio via disqualification, gets beat up, and then looks powerful with... are we calling them Roar Raiders? Or are we calling them War Machine like the Ring of Honor days? Because somebody, I think it was Joe Testator or Wade Barrett were calling them the War Machine. So are they War Machine or are they the Viking Raiders, War Raiders, whatever, what are they called? Please just bring back War Machine. Just call them War Machine. I'm okay with that. If you want to call them their Ring of Honor Day name, go for it. They came in as that. Seth Rollins had a sit-down interview with Jackie Redmond. Seth Rollins to follow up her on an interview with CM Punk. The audio is really off here as they sat in recent weeks and Sportsnet with some of the pre-tape segments for whatever reason. Rollins called Punk a hypocrite, and it was appropriate to call their match on January 6th a fight, not a match. The biggest fight in the industry right now. Highly doubt it. I honestly think Rollins is trying to top Drew McIntyre. You can't top McIntyre. Okay? The McIntyre and Punk feud will go down as one of the ones that were pretty legendary for what it is. Rollins, I've said this about Rollins, and people disagree with me with this one. I'm not a big fan of the whoa, Rollins. Bring me back the architect. Bring me back the guy that was the authority figure, the guy that would go through people. This guy that looks like Liberace or Jared Leto, I'm done with. Give me the guy that comes out, wears suits, and is there to win. Bring me that Seth Rollins. That Seth Rollins is best for business. This Seth Rollins right now that they got going on is probably going to lose against Punk. Punk is the chosen one. I'm telling you. This year, Punk is going to win the Royal Rumble one way or another. So we had that Dexter Lumis defeating The Miz. This is another throwaway match. Like, honestly, the Wyatt Six, right? Or Wyatt Six, right? Has been thrown to the wayside. Same with the Final Testament. Like this is just an afterthought. And I get why Raw's moving to 3 hours when they hit Netflix, because little things like this, they don't have enough time to tell stories. So it's kind of throwing. I get why AEW's doing 3 hours, why they're swallowing up Rampage a week to put it on Dynamite. They have to. I get why these shows are going 3 hours, why it's going to be, I get why 5 to 8. I get why they're doing it my time. I get why they're going to be doing it with Dynamite simulcasting wise. I get it. It's hurting the product. 2 hours is hurting the product. If you want to go there, they're designed for 3 hours. I wouldn't be surprised if NXT didn't go 3 hours at this point either. But this Dexter Lumis thing, man, it was a good match, but it was just a throwaway match. It's like, do we honestly give a shit about the Wyatt Six at this point outside of Uncle Howdy doing the best work of his life? Bo Dallas? Like, no, we don't. I don't care about Nikki Cross. What has Nikki Cross done since she's turned into Sister Abigail? Nothing. What has Joe Gacy and a lot of these guys done? Absolutely nothing. These guys come out once in a blue moon as a spectacle, and they're not in championship feuds. They're not moving up the card. The Wyatt Six should be dominating Raw. That should be your number one faction right now. The Judgment Day, I don't know why they're still putting stock value into that. It should be the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six should be just moving on. They should be winning championships, but, I digress. Like, Eric Rowan should be fighting for that Intercontinental title. Same with Dexter Lumis or Joe Gacy. Anyway, Priest thanks the War Raiders for their help earlier. Ivar said they know each other a long time. They would have eye to eye, but always have been honored among them. And the nod for their time in Ring of Honor. Eric said that they may not been friends, but Priest had their back a big way last week, and he appreciated it. So there you go. And then we had the Zero logo, presumably for Penta, aired again. Everybody thinks it's Penta. I think it's going to be Penta. I think Penta is going to be fighting for that World Heavyweight title this year. That's the way I see. Testator Wade Barrett recapped what happened with the New Day Big E 2 weeks ago. Led into the segment with his mother. Don't care. This was a shitty segment. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Woods said Barrett and E had something in common. Neither man had enough to lace up their boots and step forward in the ring again. Barrett said he was retired. New Day entered the ring. They said that they could have laid out Big E, but they didn't, and said they wondered why the fans were so upset. Kingston said that was meant to be a homecoming for him. It was meant to be a homecoming for his mother or his mom, and flew all the way from Uganda. Elizabeth was shown in the front row, and basically she turned her back and went out the crowd. This was all just hokey pokey. It was awkward. And by the way, Kofi Kingston is not from Uganda. He's from Washington, D.C. Actually, in fact, he's from Washington. He's from the East Coast. He's from Virginia. Fuck out of here. I don't know why they're doing the whole Lagunda thing with him again. Like, just, he's from Washington. He's American. The guy already said in interviews that he's from Washington. Why are we still doing the Lagunda thing in 2024? He's from Washington. It takes the kayfabe out of it, homie. Drew McIntyre defeating Sami Zayn. I said that at the very beginning. That's how the show ended. McIntyre hammered away on Sami Zayn until Jay ran out and made the save, and then spread McIntyre and set up the splash attack by Tama Tonga, flanked by Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. The new bloodline entered the ring. Behalf of the stare down with McIntyre, he left the ring. The bloodline attacked Jay and fought all of them off. The member family caught up to him. Zayn tried to save, but they ended up to Sola gave Sami Zayn a Samoan spike. Fatu placed the Umufala on Solo Sikoa, and they stood all the way up baby faces, and that's how the show ended. Can I just be honest with you guys with all this? Like, I could care less. I don't care about Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. I hope Roman Reigns goes through Solo Sikoa. We get this over with. They're deviating from originally what was going to happen because of all the injuries with the bloodline and the other bloodline. So it's, to me, it's like The Rock needs to be here at this point. We need The Rock. It just shows. Yes, we have Roman Reigns. Yes, we have, the 3-on-3 or 3-on-4 or whatever. But they need The Rock somewhere. The Rock needs to be here at WrestleMania. They need him. It screams that they need him. But yeah, this show, honestly, I'm going to be honest, was a C average show. I would say this is a 6.0 out of 10. I would say 2.5 out of 5. It wasn't good. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't good. I felt a lot of things were rushed. They're trying to get to January 6th. I feel they're stacking that card up way too much for the 6th. I get it's going to be 3 hours long. Raw is going to 3 hours. I got a video on that. I feel it's good for WWE. They need to go back to 3 hours. It shows 2 hours ain't enough for Raw. Same with SmackDown. They got way too much going on for SmackDown and Raw, and I wouldn't be surprised if NXT on the CW they move it up an hour and they go 3 hours. Wouldn't be surprised. And I believe why they're doing this, because Dynamite and AEW's already stated they're going 3 hours with Dynamite when they do Fight for the Fallen. They said they're going 3 hours starting next year. So the simulcast stuff, they're going to go like from like 4 to 7, or like 4 to 7 Eastern time. So 4 to 7 my time. I wouldn't be surprised. Or 5 to 8. So I'm not surprised with any of these movements that AEW is doing. And I wouldn't be surprised eventually if 3 hours and they have a sporting event. I wouldn't be surprised if they just put AEW exclusively on Max app for certain sporting events, just to get it off television, to get more subscribers and viewers. You know what I mean? So that's my personal opinion. I like I said, Monday Night Raw every week at this point has been meh. I've been watching the highlights. Like, this show, honestly, I'll be real with you guys. I watched it. I had to turn it off the DVR because I was fast forwarding through most of it. Most of it was bleh. I could have watched the highlights, and I did. I ended up turning into YouTube and watching the highlights. Because to me, you pretty much get it within the highlights. You don't need to waste 2 hours of your life to not understand what's going on. Like, I'm sorry to say that. This Raw that was taped, I pretty much got it through highlights. And then I watched each segment on YouTube, or back on the DVR a little bit before doing this review. And it's like, I could care less. And I want to say this. I'm going to say this to be real with you guys. I watched Collision last week. I also watched Final Battle. And I just feel like AEW's kind of up on this momentum swing. And I've had this, a couple of people in my community have said that they're really starting to like AEW a little bit and Ring of Honor. And I'm like, I'm feeling that. Like, they're starting to pick up some steam a little bit. And I feel like WWE is kind of tailing off a little bit. And I think they're just going to blow. And I'm going to make this prediction. I think they're going to blow all their load on this January 6th show. And then I think the next weeks of Raw are just going to be abysmal on Netflix. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say this to you guys. I apologize. But I think Raw is gonna tail off. I think after January 6th, I think they're gonna get this big fan affair. Everybody's gonna go, oh my god, it's Raw, ah! And then it's gonna turn. It's gonna people are gonna tune off. I don't think I really and by the way, Nielsen ratings. I already said they're having a hard time how they're gonna judge Netflix because Netflix is not sharing the ratings. They're not gonna be sharing it with the national rating system. So um we're gonna have to rely on what Netflix has to say, and I think Netflix will fludge in views. I really do. I think they'll make Raw out to be bigger than it needs to be. I think the first episode of Raw being on Netflix will be huge, and then I think it'll just tail off because people don't want to pay $15 a month for Netflix. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I do because I like Netflix and I like certain things that Netflix has on their stuff, movies and stuff. But even me going $15 a month, even 24 for 4K, which you're not getting 4K, is a little ridiculous. But that's just me. Anyway, my name is RevSauce9. I will see you guys on the next one. This show was average, giving my thoughts on the matter. Merry Christmas to everybody, and I'll see you guys again. Peace.